All right, so in this part, we're going to take a look at kites. So first thing that we have are all of those points plotted. So if we look at our next one, it's going to ask if any of these sides are going to be parallel to each other. And you can kind of look and see. So it's saying something like AM and TH right there, asking if two sides like that are parallel. So of course our answer here is going to be no. I'm not going to take too much time to explain the reasoning why. Basically is that if their slopes are going to be parallel, or if these lines are going to be parallel, they need to have the same slope. So if we go through and do all of that, we'll see that they have different slopes. So we're just going to write in different slopes, and I can trust that we can be able to do that. So the big thing when it comes down to kites is going to be doing our area and perimeter. So once again, we're going to use distance formula, so to quickly jot that down. So when it comes to the perimeter, of course, we'll be adding all our sides, but the neat thing about kites is that you have some sides that are equal to each other. So if I look, AT and AM, those are going to be equal to each other, so those two sides right there. And then our other sides that are going to be equal to each other will be HM and TH. So write those there. So we're going to use distance formula to figure that out. So once you pause the video, we should be pretty comfortable with distance formula now. So get the distance formula on each of these. So pause and then see if you get the same answer as I do. So this is what you should have got if you round to one decimal for our distance formula. So from here, we're going to figure out our perimeter. So now we have each side. Now keep in mind there's going to be two sides. So what we can do is go 2 times one side plus 2 times the other side. If you want to do each of those individually, you can. Regardless, the answer that you're going to get for your perimeter will be 39.4. So next we have is going to be our area. So the formula for that is 1/2 D1 times D2, where D stands for diagonal. So if we look at what we have in the coordinate plane, those diagonals aren't already there. So we have to get those on our own. So the diagonal, if we draw those, we're going to have one from A going to H. So that's going to be one of our diagonals. The other one is going to go from T to M. So T to M, I'll write that underneath. So same thing, we need to use distance formula to figure those out, and then after we use distance formula to get those, we can plug it into this nice formula. So I want you to pause and try to get the area of this kite on your own. So take some time to do that. Okay, so this is what you should have came up with. So if you did the distance formula on each of those diagonals, 17.2 and 8.6. So I had a student mention this in another class, but it just so happens that if you doubled this, it equals that 17.2. That's not always going to be the case. It just happened to be in this example, so don't think that's a similar thing that happens. But after that, we can plug into our formula. So we're going to multiply our diagonals together and divide by 2. We'll get 73.96, which rounds easily to a nice 74. So that's going to be our area there. So the rest of this page, there are 6 problems. The one right here, determine whether it's quadrilateral, you don't have to do that one. But I want you to try those other 5 problems. So I want you to pause the video, work those 5, and then you can either check the key. What I'm going to do is walk through each problem, explain it so you know where all these numbers come from. So when you take a test or a quiz, you'll know how to work them. So pause this video and try those problems out on your own. And then, of course, after you do those 5 problems, you're going to work on your sheets. And then remember to take a picture of your notes and on your practice sheets, submit those into Canvas to prove to me that you did. So again, pause the video, try these 5, and then you can go from there. All right, so starting with this first one here, we have a trapezoid that's kind of leaned over on its side. So it tells me that K is 118. So if you look at your flip grid, or your flip book, you'll see that the other angle that's the same measure is going to be across from it, and that's going to be J in this case. To get these other 2 angles, L and M, we need to go 180 minus 118. We get 62. Those are the same angles, so 62 will be your answer there. Looking at the kite, remember that we have one pair of congruent sides. So if we got 118 or 110 right here, across the way, we're going to have 110 as well. Big thing here is that we need to subtract from 360. So remember, the kite is really important. We understand that all of those angles add up to equal 360. We can't split it up and subtract from 180 like we can with all of our other quadrilaterals. A kite won't let us do that. So we're going to go 360 minus each of those angles, and we get 110 and 80 as our answer there. I told you to skip that one, so don't worry about that. And this second to last one, we got 2 below this. What we're going to do here is Pythagorean theorem. So there's 4 right triangles that make it up. The 6 goes to here and here, because keep in mind that's bisected. So we plug into Pythag, that being your best friend, and a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So you're going to get 10 for these 2 down here, and then 6.7 for those right there. Okay, then with these last 2 problems, we need to find x. Tells us the perimeter is 66. So with the kite, if you remember, if you kind of like fold a kite in half, that's where everything equals each other. So if I got 2x minus 3 here, I got 2x minus 3 here, x here, got x on the other side. So I can plug into my perimeter of a kite, so 2 times each of those, solve all the way down, I'm going to get 12. Last one is a mid-segment or a median problem. So I need to set it up like this. So the first thing I did was combine my terms up here to get 10x plus 10 over 2 equals 60. And as you can see in red, what I did is multiply both sides by 2. If you divide by 2, you'll be fine. You'll get 5x plus 5 equals 60, and you'll still get the same answer. But multiplying both sides by 2, it's going to guarantee we avoid getting decimals in situations like this. So 11 is going to be your answer there. So again, make sure that you take a picture of your notes, and then when you go and do your independent practice, you do that as well. I'll be checking to make sure you did Delta Math as well to make sure everything gets accomplished and that we are ready to go on Tuesday, because remember, we have a quiz then. So that will be all from this lesson.